This episode is supported by MonsterJoysticks.com. Level up your Raspberry Pi with our all-in-one arcade kit using genuine Sanwa arcade parts. And OneClickPrint.com for your photos on canvas, acrylic, gifts and more. Local craftsmen and global delivery.
So, they found it again, have they? I thought we'd taken care of it.
The forces of evil are persistent, sir.
I'm getting too old for this.
The unmistakable voice of James Earl Jones there comes from today's game Under a Killing Moon by Access Software. Released in October 1994, this sumptuous box sets the scene for some moody gumshoe action, borrowing from a range of film genres and pitching itself as a film of sorts. An interactive movie. Interactive movie. Interactive movie. It must be, it says it all over the box. And I actually believe it. I bought this on release, and when I played it I thought the curse of linear gameplay and unskippable cutscenes in games which claimed to be interactive movies had finally been lifted. I really did love this in 1994, and that makes me all the more nervous to revisit it, but revisit it we will today. And just look at the cast that's been drafted in with its $2 million budget. In addition to James Earl Jones, we've got Brian Keith, whose acting career spanned 6 decades, Russell Means of The Last of the Mohicans, and Margot Kidder of Superman 1 and 2 fame. It's a pretty exciting cast, even if some of them were past their big screen prime by '94. Chris Jones plays the lead role of Tex Murphy and is a founding member of Access Software, and the lead designer of this game alongside Aaron Connors. If you're calling the shots, then I guess why not make yourself the star? This game is the third instalment of the Tex Murphy series of adventure games, the previous two being 1989's Mean Streets and 91's Martian Memorandum, and inside the box are no less than 4 CD-ROMs, each one with a greater capacity than the 350MB hard drive in my PC, and opening up a world of compressed video goodness. But look, if we check this old Maxis software catalogue from my SimCity 2000 box, you can pre-order the game, which boasts 2 CD-ROMs. The CD count doubling by release then, but that's not to say you get double the content. There's plenty of duplicate files across the CDs to reduce the disc swapping. Aside from CDs, we've got a manual which is fairly unexciting. It has black and white print with some basic navigation instructions and troubleshooting hints, but unless you're having technical difficulties, all the instructions you need are within the game itself. And for maximum pleasure today, I've dug out the Roland Soundcanvas 88 MIDI device. It's supported by the game, so we can play it in a way that I never got to experience first time. So the MIDI soundtrack sounds like this. Okay, it sounds good. I need to knock the reverb down on the sound canvas, but that's pretty neat. Other options available to us include the ability to assign each of the 4 CDs to a different drive letter, so if you were lucky enough to have a multi-changer or multiple CD drives, you could eliminate disk swapping altogether. And you can also change the window size and render quality to find a balance of smoothness and quality. Everything you see today is captured on my real Packard Bell 486 hardware, which can handle a medium balance of rendering quality and screen size. With that set, shall we look at the game?
In the moonlight, New San Francisco sparkles like a chunk of cubic zirconium, an island of hollow beauty surrounded by a red sea of radiation. 5 million souls drowning in gamma rays. Some lucky people have a natural immunity to genetic mutation caused by the radiation. I'm one of them. Most of them live in the new city, but I don't.
It's that age-old story, a classic futuristic noir tale of a down-and-out private detective with a flying car.
My name's Tex Murphy. I'm a private detective. Or at least I used to be.
Recently divorced, out of luck, and out of work. And just look at that glorious video streaming from the CD-ROM with only software decoding to make the magic happen.
Yeah, one morning I just looked in the mirror and decided I needed to make a few lifestyle changes. Quit smoking, quit drinking. Now I'm getting out of the business. Yep, I'm going to move to the tropics and retire in a nice secluded island with a tribe of beautiful young women.
A hardware-enhanced version was on the cards, and an MPEG equals yes or no line is in the game's configuration file, but it never materialised. That being said, I do remember being amazed by this in '94 and the way that the game swung from cutscenes to game using the same 3D scenery rendered in those cutscenes for the gameplay portions. It gave the whole thing an easy flow between the two. This is a first-person perspective game with the main scene in the window on the left. Commands such as look, get and move appear below it, and on the right is your inventory and various other useful buttons. The really cool thing about Under a Killing Moon was that it was a first-person perspective game in a time when other point-and-click or adventure games tended to use the third-person side-on view. And that 3D didn't use raycasting to simulate the 3D effect like Doom or Wolfenstein, but this was a true polygon-based 3D world with texture mapping. Designers Chris Jones and Aaron Connors instructed their programmers that they wanted the 3D movement of Wolfenstein with the pre-rendered graphics quality of a game like The Seventh Guest. Did they achieve it? Well, when you start to move around, you can see that the quality of those 3D scenes dip, and that's to keep everything running smoothly. It looks not quite like I remember it. Wow, I remember this being the most amazing 3D world I'd ever seen.
My trusty 31 Lightning Bolt speeder. I still regret not getting the sunroof option.
But now it's like I need contact lenses. Damn you, nostalgia. As soon as you stop walking, it renders the whole view in more detail, so then you can point and click and poke around and interact with the world, before setting off in blurrovision again.
But she has a way of turning my knees to jelly. She's a mutant just like everyone else in this part of town, but she's a real beauty.
Well, hello, stranger.
This can be improved by turning up the quality if you have a faster CPU, but this is a world before hardware-accelerated GPUs were in the mainstream. It's all software rendering and compromises have to be made. Being a true 3D world, you can and you do need to look up and down to explore it fully, and you can also duck down to look under things, which is neat.
Nothing else left in here.
As we get to grips with Tex's world, the plot soon thickens in this post-World War III setting in the year 2042. From a PI looking for easy money, to an ancient and sinister cult called the Brotherhood of Purity. That doesn't sound fun. And they're plotting doomsday for the planet, and only Tex can save it. One day at a time, over 6 days, which tend to start and end back at your office, and consist of discovering new areas but also revisiting the old ones, and various game characters for questioning.
Gosh, it must be hard to become a fire safety ranger.
It is. I watched Inspector Burns' TV show every day and learned all the fire safety rules. It would be way too hard for you.
Alright, so the script is pretty hammy, campy even at times and often self-depreciating, but it never claims to be highbrow. And then of course there's Margot Kidder and her less than Oscar-worthy performance.
So, you're Tex Murphy. Well, we're gonna make your trip as comfortable as possible. Nighty-night!
But how cool was it to see big screen stars on your PC in the early 90s? Between this and the full motion video enabled versions of Wing Commander with Mark Hamill in it, I was totally in the interactive movies. Despite its unique presentation, there were plenty of familiar elements from other adventure games, such as those moments when you have to try and combine each and every item that you have to make something happen.
That watch's secret compartment may be the safest place for me to hide the winter chip.
But you'd never get truly stuck thanks to the built-in hint system, which offered a tree for each task that you needed to complete and sub-objectives within them. You'd reveal these hints for the price of precious points, but they were always there if you needed them. At its best, it's a wonderful experience where the cutscenes and the backgrounds blend seamlessly, and you really do feel like you're part of a fully interactive movie, and not a series of video clips with occasional forks in the story or impossible puzzles. At its worst, it was a hunt-and-click experience where you were trying to find an elusive item to advance to the next stage, and that item could be a bunch of blurry pixels in a puddle of other blurry pixels.
10 seconds left. Down by 1. Murphy has the ball. He fakes. He drives. It's a 360. He's fouled.
The storyline becomes more and more fantastical, resulting in an out-of-world experience, which I won't spoil for anyone who might want to pick it up. But the cheesy humour is at the heart of all 4 of those CDs.
Told me to come here and look for a fat pig named Puss.
Well, I guess you found him.
Have a sit down, Tex.
I certainly held this in high regard, and the press did too, with PC Gamer scoring 92% for it, and all of Access's previous sales records were smashed with 400,000 units sold. That success fueled a fourth title in the series, Tex Murphy, the Pandora Directive in 1996, Overseer in 98, and after a 16-year hiatus, Tesla Effect was released in 2014, which is set in the same locations as Under a Killing Moon, and is now receiving another follow-up, The Poisoned Pawn, which is in development at the time of this review, so amazingly this series is still alive. I did dip into the Tesla Effect in 2014, and something of that magic had gone for me. The beauty of Under a Killing Moon, aside from the story, was that it was on the cutting edge technically in 1994, combining a true texture-mapped 3D engine with full motion video and utilising every part of our new multimedia PCs. It gave us value for money by actually using all of the hardware we had on our desks, and that sense of being right on the cutting edge, that was really lacking for the newer releases. Playing this now though, it's not the amazing 3D engine I remember it as, but I can appreciate why I loved it so much at the time. It still has the charm and warmth I remember. It's also fun to see those famous actors in video games, when the designers must have needed to throw a lot of money at them for them to appear in them. This was long before it was cool or even career enhancing to be in video games.
A1. Scene 0A1, take 1, action.
You did some good work, Tex. I guess you didn't forget everything I taught you. Maybe it's not too late. I can make a real detective out of you. That's terrible shit.
Under a Killing Moon set a new standard in what was expected from developers if they claimed their game was an interactive movie. It showed that for a game to feel cinematic, then the sense of cinema had to span all elements of it, and not just have videos thrown at it in the hope that they would stick.
I shouldn't have to remind you, Murphy. Never underestimate a woman with an attitude.
I hope you enjoyed looking back at Under a Killing Moon, and I'd love to hear your memories of this game or similar interactive movies of the time. Thank you for watching, and take care.
Tomorrow night, you will die.
Okay, good.
Oscar.
It's called a spa award, but it's... Okay, let's do it one more time.
Typical director. That's perfect. Let's do it one more time.
Let's just...
I can never understand that logic from directors.
Perfect. That's the best I've ever seen.
Let's do it one time.
1, take 1, action.
So you're Tex Murphy. Well, we're gonna make your trip as comfortable as possible. Nighty-night.
Perfect. Sounds to me. The only problem was you don't shoot.
Oh, I'm sorry.